are live. It's Sunday night. And I thought, yeah, let's jump on. What are we going to talk about today? Well, let me tell you. Today is going to be the thing I just did this for. Forests. Talking about forests. This is something I thought I was going to do a video on, and I might still do. But yeah, I just think tonight I'm going to talk us through forests. We might even build one together, or you can come in and suggest things about how you've run forests. I just think the first thing I think about in D&D, world-wise, is a forest. It's kind of Lord of the Rings inspired, I suppose. I mean, yeah, I think of elves in forests, and if I can get this page loaded up for us, we can look at what comes up when we search forests in D&D. Let's go this one. Oh, let's go this one. Yeah, so what does it say? Forests in D&D. Let's go the wiki. Shall we? Let's. Check that you're seeing... No, you're not seeing that, because I've changed the thing. Yeah. So... we'll get there in a minute. I've got a lot of things open here. Okay. Right, this is the wiki. Yeah. The first thing I think of is elves. But, of course, there are many different types of forests. And you're going to want to spread many different types in your world. We've got the classic Sword Coast ones. Neverwinter Wood, Misty Forest. That sort of thing. But, yeah, there can be different sizes. I mean, let's go Misty Forest. That's one of the big ones. It's going to be a lot of crappy pop-ups and videos. Can we view this map? And are you... yes, you are still seeing that. Right. Stop it. How do I stop that from showing me all the crap like that? Yeah, the Misty Forest. Right, so, you know, what comes to your mind when you see that? Giants, I suppose, for me. Yeah, large things that come stomping through the tree lines. I suppose spiders. Lots of webs. That's a bit Lord of the Rings as well, isn't it? What I'm thinking there. But it's quite easy to get a lot of roll tables as well. Like I have a book called, what is it called? Game Master's Fantasy Toolkit, and I don't think I still have the PDF for this. If we find out what it says here. So it's got this plus one page, Forest Encounters. Like the first one it says is strange fungi blocking the path ahead. Yeah, nice and easy. If disrupted, they will burst with poisonous and deadly spores. So you've got your plant life. And why didn't I think of it? Tree ants, you know? There's that sort of thing, isn't there? Violet fungi. Secondly, a lumberjack was cutting down trees to make a new log cabin, but disturbed an animal, and it's now attacking them. Absolutely, yeah. Having an NPC stuck and in trouble in your forest, that would make sense. And that kind of lends itself to any scenario, anywhere, if it's a mountain or if it's bloody out in the ocean, you know. having an NPC that they have to rescue is obvious. But yeah, a lumberjack cutting down trees. Now, obviously, isn't it like bugbears that cut down forests? So that's a good one. The canopy in this part of the forest is covered with thick spiders' webs. Again, I mentioned spiders' webs. I was thinking whatever that forest is in Lord of the Rings with all the spiders. I thought this milk were going to help my voice, but it's kind of not. 12 statues line the path ahead. On closer inspection, these are people who have been turned to stone. So yeah, weird statues. There's a forest near me where there's an old folly, what is now broken down. It's basically a ruin of a once proud, not castle, but yeah, a folly. It's a small, whatever that place is. And so stumbling upon a ruin is a nice place to have your characters rest. But also, you know, statues that can come to life, gargoyles that get awakened when your players go there. That's fine. Does it say anything else about forests in here? Seemingly not. So if I go back to forests in D&D, right, 1 second. Get this down for you. This. So it says here. Not there. High Forest, a vast and ancient forest filled with powerful trees and magical creatures. It's a place where the remnants of elven civilization can be felt. Yeah, the first thing I do think of is elves. And then it mentions fae. And fae creatures. Very cool. Well, that takes you away to somewhere else, pretty much, doesn't it? To the Feywild. Like fairy rings, they're cool. I guess fairies in a forest, that's quite a good thing to have, and they're pesky little bleeders at the best of times. But yeah, having these sprites, I suppose, coming into your games. And things that can camouflage, it's kind of cool. What else did it say here? So, Crypt Garden Forest is obviously one I've not heard of. Although Clougy Liamatar was that something that was in the DLC we looked at last week? Possibly. So, Sylvan Forests, yeah, fae creatures, druids and dryads, of course. Forests can present various environmental challenges. Quicksand, I don't use that often enough. Carnivorous plants and wildfires. These hazards can create unexpected obstacles for players. Players may encounter a range of creatures, wild beasts and magical beings. Poachers, bandits are common threats, while wounded animals or magical phenomena can lead to moral dilemmas and side quests. So yeah, we mentioned ancient ruins, magical springs. Many a good magical spring. A lot of times I use a well in the forest, and there's just suddenly a well, and you know why is it there? You can put any old encounter around a well in a forest, and I do favour that. Quite often, as they're looking into the well, they hear footsteps circling them or something, and I decide whether that's like a crazy NPC or something like that. With these, you know, we mentioned statues earlier. Perhaps it's a well with statues around, and are these people petrified, or are they just statues, or are they gargoyles, obviously? A man runs past the players, followed by a flurry of arrows. He's being tracked and hunted by several bandits. there's a scene where we don't know whether the man running away is the good guy, or he is the villain. And I like to play that little switcheroo on my players of preempting who's the good one and who's the bad one, and then twisting that thought. But yeah, you don't know who's in the forest with you, do you? So it's not good to make these prejudgments. A merchant is hanging upside down by a piece of rope and asks the party to help get them down. Again, they don't know who's good and who's bad. And a person hanging up by a rope is obviously potentially going to be stalked by monsters. So if the party find themselves in one of those like Star Wars nets and upside down, and perhaps they're the ones asking for help to an NPC walking by, the tables can turn. But would they rob a merchant in the trap? I expect probably. So a burnt and ruined shack lies still in a clearing. The tenants' voices and laughter can still be heard from within. So these could be good guys or a safe house or bad guys. Again, a little shack is a safe place to run away from monsters that you put in there. Perhaps it's where a cult meets. That'd be kind of cool. In fact, let's jump to a different table. 1 second. Because in the Game Master's Guide, we get this forests table as well. Just as a bit of variation, I suppose. Put me up there. So this has a tunnel. Yeah, that's good. Burrow into... It says 5 giant weasels, but... whatever. A pseudo-dragon... Dragonette follows the PCs. That's pretty much like what we said, fairies and stuff like that. As the PCs move through the woods, they notice strange fungal growths. They realise the growths are in the shape of humanoids, just as the motionless bloat blossom spawn and 3 skull bloom spawn stand to attack. Yeah, that's just a re-skinned odd statue. 4 orcs stop the PCs, demanding they hand over all their belongings. Yeah, the good old ambush, pretty much. Difficult terrain in a forest, sure. Things that they can't pass easily. A PC that can find a hanging net trap, as we mentioned. The Star Wars one in Jedi. Pulls 30 feet straight up into the branches of the tree. As soon as this happens, 6 goblins attack from the treetop. So they attack while they're in the net. That's a bit nasty. 3 lizard folk hiding in the underbrush. Yeah, just being watched in general. Have them try and spot who's watching them or who's following them. Baboons? I don't think I've used baboons. 8 baboons keep pace with the PCs. They keep their distance, staying at least 20 feet away at all times, but they hoot and howl loudly. A playful blink dog follows the party. Giant spider we mentioned. Sturges? I don't think I've put sturges in a forest myself. I just see them being as more likely in caves. Owl bear? Now, come on, an owl bear's classic. Kobolds? A witch kobold and 4 normal kobolds move through the woods. Yeah, I guess any little factions you put in the woods have to travel around themselves, so could innocently bump into the party, that's good. A shambling mound waits nearby. I mean, would you get loads of shambling mounds, like an absolute massive pile of shambling mounds? Because they're pretty lethal. I mean, so many shambling mounds that the only option is to run. That'd be quite interesting. I suppose one counter of that is generally, oh well, I just fire them. But you know, grass isn't particularly flammable a lot of the time unless it's dry. You know, if it's good, potent green grass, I wouldn't allow vast areas of woodland to be burnt to the ground, personally. Yeah, I mentioned giants and a hill giant. It'd be cool. Giant hyenas is an odd choice. I don't think of them as forest animals. I think, I don't know, more the plains, but could be wrong. Dire wolf, sure. Climbing the trees would be the only way to get out of it. And then we get the fake humanoid adventurer who is an Oni, or whatever you want to do. Claims the rest of the party was slaughtered by an unseen creature. I have bandits, you know, pose as injured humanoids, and then the party gets ambushed if they try to lift the tree off their ankle or whatever. But this is saying it's some sort of shape changer, which is, you know, works just fine. A band of 5 orcs and an orc warlord has managed to capture a Pegasus. That'd be interesting. I wonder if a Pegasus in this can do anything useful, like a unicorn. Can unicorns cast Wish? Or am I misunderstanding that? These are all going up in tiers as we move along. A guardian naga. The sound of magic and combat echoes through the trees. If they investigate, they discover a coven of 3 green hags fighting a guardian naga. That'd be interesting. The hags are searching for a magical secret the naga holds. If the PCs don't intervene, the naga kills 2 of the 3 hags, but is mortally wounded in the process. Ooh, weirballs. Anything werewolfy or whatever. That'd be a good thing to come across in the forests. I like that. I don't know what Salangs are. This is Tales of the Valiant, so there are some different monsters here. Giant apes? Not sure. I know it's a forest, but I feel like it's like more jungle-y for me. Dryads, yeah, shambling mounds. Giant elk, sure. You know, they don't all have to be big monstrosities, do they? They just have to be foresty animals. Ancient gold dragon, ancient green dragon, yeah. Treants, archdruid. Satyrs, yeah, that's a bit, what's that film? Mr. Tumnus. Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. Got an archmage, finally, with a tower. Yep, a tower in the forest. That works for me as well. So yeah, that would be cool. What's next on this little list here? 4 bandits with a prisoner. They're eating rabbit near a fire in their campsite. Now obviously there are resting campsites in these forests. Or could be. And so, yeah, having a prisoner to rescue is always pretty cool. Suddenly the party come across an inn that isn't on any of their maps. After staying the night, it totally vanishes. That's my sort of thing. Weirdness that doesn't have to stick to the rules. You know, there's so many portals and weirdness like that, and illusions in D&D, that you can bang a disappearing inn in the middle of a forest whenever you need it. I think that's where I put something called the games. I wanted a travelling circus to move through my forests and around all the world. And it was basically so I could have a session where they could do some throwing of hand axes and some card games and strength checks, you know, just circuses effectively, with games they could play. And what would happen is they'd see like the image of the forest almost like projected on curtains. They could tell it was an illusion. Pulling back these curtains, they're met with like the circusy thing out of the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. at the beginning. And they come in and they do loads of different games. Now I would probably just take that out of the Witchlight book and run all those roller coasters and stuff. Although some of those are really hostile. I think I killed a player in that fair. That's the word. The players reach a deep, overgrown ravine. Okay. They have to swing across a series of vines to reach the other side. I'm more likely to do a broken bridge in a forest, I think. And of course, there's the classic whoever, bandits, troll, Etin, blocking the way and charging money to anyone who wants to cross. It's like such a long way to walk round the ravine that you're kind of forced to either kill this guardian or pay up this ridiculous fee. And also then you've got, if you're going to meet an ogre or something in one area of the forest, you can have it like not liking an ogre in the other end of the forest. The party begin to notice painted markings on trees. If followed, they will lead to a secret goblin stronghold. I mean, effectively a dungeon. You can have a dungeon up under partial parts of the forest, can't you? But yeah, markings on trees seems a good way to lure your party to something. Maybe they see the those when they put spiked tree stumps all around a village and things. You know, to show that civilization is beyond this fortification. And you put whatever you want inside. A lost child stumbles through the brambles. Now, yeah, having a child NPC in a forest really does ring alarm bells. But what if they've escaped from being kidnapped from a bandit cult or something? That's one of those things that you can really draw out the, is this child really a child or is it a trick leading us somewhere? And you can really play that out and keep switching your mind on whether you want this child to be real or not. I'm going to switch to something else now, another book I have. Go to... This is called No Place Like Homebrew. And has some forest stuff in it. So, I think forest is first. Yes. So these are like plug and play things that have been made for us. Terranly Thicket, best known as the home of the legendary Bagwin. This elusive creature resembles an antelope with the tail of a horse and curling horns made of bark. Deer found in the woods can be hunted for their meat. We never even mentioned hunting. Of course they can hunt. The region's ruler has issued a large reward for any hunter that can capture this fabled Bagwin. Clustered pines, shaggy bushes provide cover for hunters. Okay, so we're hunting this big thing. We don't even get told what that big thing is, but it's cool. You can make up your own beastie. Cursed by the thickets, resident green hag to be a beast of prey. So it's almost again like a weird monster we could have. But that's a quest on its own, isn't it? Hunt down survival checks and find this weird beast. So the Dreadwood, lamplight, swallowed by the smothering darkness. Every creaking branch and footstep sounds magnified. Even on the brightest day, sunlight doesn't penetrate the darkness of the Dreadwood. Perpetual autumn leaves. Awakened trees can be used to make powerful magic items. Yeah, that's a good idea. The wood is filled with undead beings. That's a bit like Chult, hordes of undead, but it's up to you. The secret, the shadow beings are all trapped souls of people who died in the Dreadwood. They can only be moved moved on if purged by a cleric. Vast, dangerous forest. Beautiful shoreline jungle, that's not really what we're looking for. A mushroom forest, parts of it could be mushroom. Fungal dryads. I mean, after The Last of Us, we can flavour any of our monsters with these horrible fungus growths on them. Smouldered out. Yeah, charred forest. A red dragon who sits at the heart of this burning down forest claims the land as its home. Charred trees rise like matchsticks above the scorched earth. Magical flames flicker across the forest, filling the air with shimmering heat and thick, toxic smoke. The dragon lit the forest to incubate her eggs. That's good, because it's like, well, she's only trying to protect her young. That seems totally fair. More forests, a glade of magical trees used to make wands. That's interesting, isn't it? So that could be a quest from a town where I will make you a better wand or a better arcane focus of some sort. But you need to come to these certain trees in this certain forest, and it's surrounded by whatever you're going to throw in their way. Home to trees with distinctive blue foliage. The trees that cycle through the seasons each day. That's cool. Werewolf community we've talked about. Birds, yeah, just natural bird spotting things. Needing feathers from a certain type of bird. Destroyed by illegal logging of bugbears, which we kind of touched on. Time passing differently within the wood. That's a good one. Like, that's like a time attack. Like, the longer you spend in it, the more time passes. So you need to get the thing, get in and get out. Or maybe your players come out aged, the PCs come out aged after being in it, and the world around it is the same. So either the world gets older or they get older. Or younger, you know. Maybe it's a rejuvenating wood. That'd be pretty cool. Would it be interesting? Well, I don't think players would like it. I was going to suggest a wood that de-levels them, makes them go down in levels. I don't think they'd like that, would they? But maybe you could, like, take something away from their stats for every hour of play, only to give them it back when they long rest. But yeah. Fabled grove where rubies grow on trees. No, because the players would just be endlessly ripping those gems for weeks. Lizards and dinosaurs, that's more jungle to me. We don't want jungles. So here's a forest that's man-made by the looks of it. 25 square miles. It was planted 100 years ago in the site of a devastating war. Then we got a little bit of a map. 9 major tree-lined avenues to mark the number of weeks. This really has the law then. It'd be weird to come up, you know, all the trees in lines. That would be a strange place. A powerful Vorpal sword was buried in the forest. A collector has recently offered a high price to any skilled thief willing to disturb the hallowed ground. Famous burial sites, yeah. Buried beneath an ancient oak is the final resting place of a war drummer. People hear rhythmic beats coming from the area. So tombstone, a circle of shells and stones marking his grave. Yeah, graveyard, fine. Is that it? Is that the end of forests? No. The Arboreal Knight. This angelic warrior guards the forest's oldest tree with unwavering devotion. Yeah. That reminds me of the Cursed Bones from One Shot Wonders, where there's a ghost of a warrior. So those could be similar. Though tireless, the knight must return to the celestial realm once a year. Well, that's not going to come up, is it? Cinderwolf. It blends into the trees. That's like Predator. A Predator wolf? That's kind of cool. It regenerates. Monks who steward the forest. Because we haven't even really mentioned the druid factions, but this could be put into that. They protect animals, heal polluted environments, and yeah, they could be found wandering through the forests. A friendly religious faction. This tiny timber company is run by the Loggings sisters, a pair of ambitious fairies. They harvest tree saplings as part of their small-scale operation. Chop the wood into enchanted matchsticks. Poster advertisements are pasted to trees within 10 miles of their logging sites. Who's this? A friendly fair merchant. How do you say that? Burge. Wondergreen. Oh, I missed a comment. Who have we got here? It's the DFG. But when you take the rubies out of the forest, they melt into a thick blood-like fluid that attracts predators. Now we're thinking. That's good. Yeah, because like I say, if my players are just take from every tree, there does need to be something like that. Yeah. Because you know what players are like. Who's this then? So, some of the objects in their overfilled backpack clang on the floor. They shake their head and laugh. Travels to and from the fair realm through one of these fairy rings or whatever. Their unique inventory makes them a hit with mages and adventurers. That's interesting if, like, you've got a merchant who doesn't cater for all and just caters for one particular type of player, magical or not. That's kind of cool. Their skin is the appearance of rough tree bark, and a mass of auburn leaves sits on top of their head. Their overcoat and bags are stuffed with goods. Yeah, let's just say that they, like, cater for druids and have only druid stuff. Bag of holding. They'd have to have some protection though, because they'd just get robbed, wouldn't they? So I'd give them an amulet or something that really stops them from being robbed. That's what I'd say. A secret. A group of furious, unseelie elves is hunting for Burge. They know Burge stole an artifact from a sacred site and sold it for profit. Nice little twist on this supposedly friendly fair merchant. You know, perhaps in one of these little accoutrements hanging from the backpack is a soul that's, you know, they've bought and they can't seem to find a person to buy it. They're just out to make money. You know, generally friendly, but you could still, you know, sale's a sale. Could be a quest to return that soul to the rightful owner, couldn't it? A corrosive tree sap, harmless when contained within the bark. When the tree is split, the sap takes on a life of its own and looks for food, humanoids. Oh, so it's like an ooze. An ooze coming from trees, that's nice. Yeah, the sap is dense and golden brown. If the sap can be contained, It can be boiled down to an almost permanent adhesive. Perhaps that's what sovereign glue could be. And once you learn that, you can make your own sovereign glue. Hermit Donna Arena, hermit who breathes flying snakes in a chaotic forest cottage, sells them as pets. She also sculpts art from the discarded eggshells that snakes are born from. Yeah, it's good to come across. Despite her unkempt hair and grubby clothing, Donna is actually incredibly wealthy. Her real name is Dr. Rianne Nero, and she is a retired economics professor. That just shows how this book is so useful. A few sentences and you can really get half an hour out of that, at least. Blight Striders, sentient trees corrupted by evil. You notice long gnarled legs and arms made of bark. Well, there are plenty of creatures like that. Blight Striders are hollowed from within by a swirling core of dark magic. Make them as hard as you want. Necrotic bark, boomerang, staff of the woodlands, blighted resin, bundle of dried leaves and oil of sharpness. So when it's killed, its body seeps necrotic magic into the soil, causing lasting corruption. Only a cleric can bless it, basically. Yeah, that's new, isn't it? It's pretty cool. What's this? Merc Underback, a forest detective. The detective investigates bandit activity in woodland areas. His name strikes fear into fake toll booth operators, illegal loggers, highway robbers and gang leaders. Wears a poncho, polished boots, thick moustache hides his top lip. He used to be part of an infamous bandit gang. Oh, it's a gnome. And then we've got Janice Doe, satyr with memory loss. Wanders the forest and politely asks everyone she meets if they know anything about her. She'd like to learn her real name. I don't think this milk is actually helping like I thought it would. This sturdy satyr wears a ruby-tailed tailcoat. Rubies from those trees we were talking about. A raised swelling between her horns suggests her amnesia is linked to a blow to the head. That's good. Janice was a Fae Court advisor exiled after witnessing a Sealy scandal. A spell to modify her memory was compounded when she fell out of a speeding carriage. These are good. A firefly farmer, Drift Gwynhop. So yeah, if we meet him, he's in the woods and he's got this jar of flying, what you might think is fairies, but it's fireflies. He and his husband have 3 teenage children. Drift hopes that one or more of his kids will volunteer to take over the family hive. I mean, they could be fairies if you wanted them to be. I can't really imagine a hive of fairies. But yeah, he's a beekeeper, priest, acolyte, stat block. Shadow Tales, flashy forest pirates. Pirates in a forest. Evening, thought I'd stop by to see what you're looking at this time. Hey, thanks, Philip. Yeah. I'd change it to Druid's Blessing rather than Clerics. That would make more sense, yeah. Yeah. That is a fair point. So, bandits. This dashing troop of forest bandits ambushes wealthy travellers using traps and swoops down from rope bridges to snatch valuables. I don't know if I'd have... Well, it doesn't say whether they're humanoids, but... What could we have these foresty pirates be? You know, something like... is there something we haven't spoke about yet? I mean, goblins... Boggarts? They're a thing, aren't they? They dress in stolen finery, silks, rings and hats. For stealth, they wear dark velvet red caps. What about that? They wear dark velvet cloaks clasped with squirrel brooches, which they dramatically discard when revealing their stylish look to intimidate victims. The Shadow Tails stand for freedom and reject society's rules. Surplus treasure is buried in marked sacks across the forest. See, that's good. Finding, like, markings on trees. God, that's not good. So yeah, you follow the tree scrapings, work out the puzzle and find the treasure. They could be bullywugs from which, like, bullywugs. Yeah, that's good. I think I'm going to have to make myself a cup of tea. So, let me just take a second. Hold on. Right, let that boil. Okay. Where were we? More... Blimey. More forest creatures. Badgers with constant bloodthirsty rage. A constrictor snake, that's alright. Invisible tree frogs with healing blood. Yeah, being able to chase down something like that, that's quite... I mean, they all want to be healed, don't they, players, so... That'd be a good idea. Limping white elk with an arrow in its back leg. Could be a shape changer of some sort. Tree climbing big cat. Yeah, we haven't really spoke about tabaxis, have we? Could they live in forests? I don't see why not. Wargs. Bears. House-sized snails. That's like the flail snails, I suppose. Lumberjack doppelganger. Right, let me get my tea. It's nearly boiled. Right. So is this silver red hatch lumberjack doppelganger? Yeah, any recluse or hermit who lives in the woods is interesting, I think. Ah, that's better. Muscular shoulders, a sweat-drenched shirt and calloused hands. Big beard, charming smile, sharp teeth. Because it's a doppelganger. Yeah, having something like just a bit off about this person's quite kind of cool. It is there to prey on passers-by. That's up to us, isn't it? To twist. He offers weary travellers bed and board, then robs them and butchers them. That's actually fun. Especially the robbing them. I do like that idea. The Foal Union. Centaur warriors who protect an arcane library within a spiralling hollow tree. They wear blue and white doublets with pockets for parchments and pens, lined with thick armour. The uniforms blend academic function with battle readiness. Whatever. But yeah, a nice library. So I suppose you wouldn't expect an arcane library in the middle of a forest, but it's where all the paper is made out of trees, isn't it? So I think that's the end of, forest section of this book. And I have something else for us to look at. Remove that. Do the thing. Share the screen. Here we go. So this is the ultimate guide to foraging. And it's got a longer title than that. Foraging, harvesting and natural discovery. So, in our quest to put our players in a forest, we have the random ingredient generator, because obviously looking for flowers or certain plants would be a good time waster, I was going to say, but really, with this book, we're looking for collections so that we can craft things. I should probably explain these tables. You can roll for what ingredient they find. And, you know, ration means they can eat it. Stimulant gives them a boost. Toxins can be used as, you know, something to coat your weapons with. Unique, it says, touched by the fair. Okay. So, the grade is for... What is the grade for? It's how potent it is, I think. I think it reduces the time. So, like, coffee beans are really... speed up the process, the time spent on crafting things. And this book comes with a load of magic items, what you would need to find to make it, you know. The foraging DCs, straightforward enough. The time it takes to find such a thing. So, okay, so it says grade supreme, but then 40 minutes is the time. Is that the... I can't remember. There are things that alter the crafting time, and I can't quite remember, but it's in the book, obviously. Climate type, you find these places, and then sub-locations, which I do like. That, you know, thickets and grave sites. So, corpse bloom to be found in a grave site makes sense, doesn't it? But yeah, there's loads, and then there's, like, magic items, or just even, like, health potions. But we talked about those frogs with healing blood earlier. It's easy to just say, it's nature 15 to find these frogs, or survival, and you know, you can use them towards a healing kit or whatever. It's just good for that little bit of inspiration. Trees and shrubs are found in abundance, while wood is the most obvious resource. A variety of other ingredients can be gathered, such as pigment-rich leaves or sticky sap with unique alchemical properties. Yeah, chopping down a tree is a lot of hard work and noisy work. So we've got balsa wood in use for crafting stringed instruments. Here we go. The crafting time is reduced by 10% because of you using this material. Bristlecone pine, renowned for their restorative and durable properties, as well as their spiky seed pods. When used as an ingredient in a recipe, such as a +1 shield, the crafting time is reduced by 25%. So you can even use bristlecone pine as part of the potion of healing recipes, I should say. So it goes through all these different trees and what you can do with them. Then, what else we've got here? Fairy Song Willow. Comes with a roll table of sorts, a D4 roll table. Spectral Melody allows you to cast Minor Illusion, for example. So yeah, you can really do all different types of trees as they walk through areas that grow such a thing. Fungi. Again, it's what sort of mushrooms you want to drop in, whereabouts they grow. That's pretty cool. Miscellaneous stuff that can be found in a forest. Gemstones in crevices. Charred wood in any climate. Rocks, yeah. When foraging in forested areas, consult the table to see what speciality ingredients are available for each of the artisan's tools. So you need to be proficient with certain tools to get certain special, unique grade things. Because you just like destroy it otherwise or whatever. So like if you have got cobbler's tools, you could get rubber tree sap, which is a waterproof sealant. So if they know they're going to make some shoes, then they need this sap, what works best for shoes or whatever. A green dye, butterfly milkweed, grows in patches. I think that's like 40 minutes to find. In general. Some things take 5 minutes to find, like, well, yeah, sand. It takes 5 minutes, no big deal. And I think we're out of the forests section. So yeah, with those few things I've mentioned today, and then that's before looking at the monster manual and looking at what monsters are available. Yeah, so obviously travel in itself is a difficulty anyway, isn't it? But if you're foraging, it makes it more interesting. And then you've got certain NPCs to run into which are going to side quest you, whether they're not who they say they are, or whether they're going to point you in the right direction for your goblin quest or whatever you decide. I don't think there's any other book that I've got out that I've not looked at. There is actually. We have one more thing. I'm going to look in this book, Random Encounters, and see if it's got a specific forest section. The Great Outdoors. Campfire Cove. Let's look at that. Or is that literally called? So we talked about graveyards. We talked about odd ruins that we can come across. That's temples, tombs and crypts. I've gone too far. Yeah, they're useful. It's alright having all these books, but it's really a matter of remembering to look through them all, isn't it? If only I could know them all off by heart as soon as I looked through them. Yeah, there's nothing that jumps out too much there. But you need many forests, don't you? And some forests are going to be very bugbear, filled, and some goblin, some's got a dungeon underneath. And then you've got your fae, your dryads, your druids. It's that kind of makes me think of wars, that some days there's battles to take over from these humanoid types, but then there's the trees themselves can have none of it and say we don't let people into these woods anymore because of all the fighting or whatever. Yeah, it's a good place to just have random portals, out of the way. You've got to kind of find your way to this grove where the so-and-so mushrooms grow, and then in eating from the bark of this tree you'll eventually get this sight of a portal leading elsewhere or to the Feywild, whatever. Piling all these things up on top. I think we've got all the tools we need there, don't we? But, obviously you can have huge civilizations like the Ewoks, for example. Obvious choice, but living in these forests that are always there. You can also have things that are moving through. Fey courts, you mean, don't you? Fighting in the woods. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I really have to look into. Fey courts is not something I'm up on, and I'm sure there's a lot of things on like Drive-Thru RPG and stuff that in fact we could look at that people have made. There's Drive-Through RPG and the other one. And by the other one, I can't remember what it's called. Let's chuck this off. Spring Court, Winter Court, Battle of Changing of the Seasons. Yes. Drive-Through. Then I need to take Philip's comment off. Right, so I guess this is as good test as any. What if I type forests in here? Oh. Damn. What do we got here? Mistborn's Forest, Great Moor. A guide for forests, woods and plains. Do we get a preview? You are seeing this, aren't you? Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah, sometimes some of them have previews. I thought that would have it, but it don't. Absolutely essential resource for your wilderness adventures. Helps me craft a more real-feeling jungle environment. Cool. Shame I chose one that doesn't have a preview. So does this site have like a best thing? Maybe not. What else? All these things that people make are really skilled. This has got a preview. You're not seeing it though. No. Can I show you this? Stop that. How do I stop that? Remove that. I know I'm slow. How about that? You seen that? Right. Describing forests. This is very basic. Okay. This preview has let us go. No. That's just saying about types of forests. We know what types of forests are. Okay, so this just shows that not everything's a winner on Drive-Through RPG. What's that other place? DM's Guild, thank you, DFG. Thank you. I don't know why I'm fluffing at all, because it's a live stream. We all know how tricky they are. DM's Guild. Dungeon Masters Guild. Okay. Share screen, DMG. Oh, there. We got there. Right. I nearly bought that Souls for the Taking, because that had Greenwood thing. It just didn't sound like it was worth it for me. So, I mean, I'm going to type in forests in a second. I'm just looking. Again, I've had some really cool supplements off this. Like, this Chains of Asmodeus, I got that printed out. It cost like 70 quid to have the hard print-out copy. We're meant to be looking at forests, Chris. This Lost City of Mesro, an extension on Chult, a section of Chult. Yeah, right. Let me look for forests. Forest of the Realms. got a lot of... It's got 5 stars. Preview? Preview. Right, I'm going to have to change this so you can see it. Share the screen. Sample. Dude. Good? Good. Amaroon's Almanac. Forests of the Realms. Now look, this is how I imagine DFG, where you came from. The old school. Black and white. Well before my time. Well, that's not fair. I did get the basic set, but as a kid, but like I didn't have anyone to play it with. Moonshade Isles is somewhere that I don't really know much about, but look how much of this is forests. You've got to have a forest in your game, haven't you? Jungles of Chult. Wish I could draw maps like that. So what's this book offer? Circle of the Grove. Druid stuff, ranger stuff. List of forest spells. What if you came to a forest and could learn new spells that you could only learn in the forest by talking to a certain soothsayer? Forward by Ed Greenwood. He's everywhere. High forest, tangle trees, the Yewood. Downtime activity, gathering plants expeditions. Again, that foraging stuff that I've got now, it just is transforming my games with the wonder of exploring further, crafting magical items and just getting new spells and stuff. Letter from the publisher, buy it from Volothamp Gedarm. Okay, we're not learning much, but Ed Greenwood says it's good. Seeing the forest through the trees. I don't know what am I looking for really. I'm expecting roll tables. We've got this Circle of the Grove subclass, sure. Sylvan Sentinel spells, just natural ones, spells we already have. Give me some proper things that a DM could use, please. What's this? Spellcasting. Forest Spirit. So these are new spells. Okay, that's good for players. Maybe it is player-centric. Jungles of Chult. High Forest. Yeah. All the work. I just appreciate all the work. I just could never do anything like this. Okay, Mundane Flora. Something I could actually use. Expedition Complication Tale. The trail you were following is not where you thought it was. Yes, getting lost. Something we haven't actually covered. In the woods. Getting lost. Blair Witch style. A persuasive and intrusive bard meets you on your journey and insists that because you overheard his music, you owe him compensation. Nice work. In the dead hours of the night, your packs are ransacked by local fauna, leaving you with half as many provisions as are required to complete the expedition. Great! Getting robbed. I like it. It's too early or late in the season for the plant to have its clear indicators, making it nearly impossible to find. Yes, raising the DCs to find said plant. You encounter an aggressive band of beasts. A weary traveller stops you asking for food and water. I like that as well. Oh, so is this like the regions? Yeah, that takes a lot of work. That's good. Again, we've already looked at lists of what can be found where with that roll table. We've even done drawings. See this, this person's obviously devoted so much time to this stuff, and it's getting eyes on when you're on DM's Guild must be difficult. Different beasts and where they can be found. Ooh, what's this? A medium beast, a Kushi. it can blend in with plant life. If it moves 20 feet towards you, it hits it with a tackle attack. You could be knocked prone. Then it can make a bonus bite attack. It's an elven hound. Massive canines. It looks so cute. But bite, 10 piercing. Tackle, 7 bludgeoning. Giant armadillo. A gorbor. A large beast. Bloodthirst, charge. Bloody tusk. Hangman's tree. Even these sort of tree-like stuff, I like to have different stat blocks for it, so you feel like you're getting some sort of, not just repetition. Moss bear. Unique types of black bear that have formed a symbiotic relationship with moss, which allow it to grow freely on its fur. I like it. Let me just see. Catch up on these comments. Not forest related, but one of the PDFs from DM's Guild I used when I ran Tomb of was Beasts of the Jungle Rot. Beasts of the Jungle Rot. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, I cut my teeth with DMing the old Beck Me Red Box. Yeah, I did it at school, but dinner times. But I was a sort of a guest in the club, and the kids didn't really want to teach a new player. We were kids, not respectful. White stag. Magic items from a forest. It's a wooden shield, unpainted, covered in living vines. Oh, I imagine it all squirming like snakes. That's cool. You get proficiency in nature. Gives you cover. You can call to the plants around you as if you know them by name. That's it. Yeah, just throw around that shield. An old gnarled stump. Child of the forest. Oh, so it's like a little kid, but it's a stump. And there's the shield. And this is just a sample. What was it, like a tenner or something? Cool art. Yeah, well done, that person. Well played. Well, guys, we're over the hour. I struggled with my voice again today. Doctor's in tomorrow. I could talk to them about it. And hopefully, I'll see you next week for another Croaky live stream. Have a good week. My respects to you all. Thank you.